CJ Stroud has signed his deal, and the Texans training camp is underway. Also, the Tennessee Oilers are back. All that and more on today's episode of Texans Takes with James Roy. I'm James Roy. Let's get started. Before we get started, if you like what you see in this video, you can go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to my channel to get more content like this. CJ Stroud has signed his rookie deal, which is $36.3 million, fully guaranteed, and his signing bonus of $23.38 million will be paid up front within 15 days of him signing. That's my understanding. I really tried hard to look this up, and I'm hoping that I got it right. But that's the first time in Texans history that they've fully guaranteed the signing bonus for a rookie. The closest they've gotten to that is actually Will Anderson, who signed earlier this offseason. 85% of his signing bonus was paid up front. To give you a comparison, back in 2013, the Texans signed DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins got his rookie signing bonus, only half of it up front. So it's a new precedent for Houston, first time they've ever done it. I think it's a worthwhile move. I think it shows what they believe they have in CJ Stroud. There was people messaging me on Twitter asking me if I was concerned whether or not CJ Stroud was going to sign in time for camp. And I had told them that if it took till the end of the first week of camp, that I'd probably be a little more concerned. But I fully expected him to sign a deal. It's nice to see that he did. It's nice to see that what was holding it up wasn't anything too serious. There's not much else to say on the matter except for that I'm excited to see CJ Stroud put in the work and earn QB1 and go out and play quarterback for the Texans, build himself into the Texans' next franchise quarterback. Speaking of CJ Stroud earning the QB1 job, training camp starts this week. Now, throughout the entire offseason with OTAs and other events that the team had, we saw other teams like the Panthers named their quarterback that they drafted number 1 overall, Bryce Young, the starter after initially claiming that Andy Dalton was the starter. To this point, we've gotten no information that indicates anything except for that there's a competition for the QB1 spot between Davis Mills and CJ Stroud. So obviously that's something that I'm interested to see play out, and I'm hopeful, like I said earlier, that CJ Stroud can earn QB1. Other battles that I'm interested in seeing throughout training camp mostly center around wide receiver and defensive line. I feel like specifically at the wide receiver slot, guys like Noah Brown, Amari Rodgers are guys that are on the bubble to make the roster. You obviously have Robert Woods, Tank Dell, John Mechie, Nico Collins, and Xavier Hutchinson. Now, I have seen, I think ESPN put out an article trying to project the roster, and they said that Xavier Hutchinson makes it, but they counted him as a fringe guy, which seems weird. I know he was a 6th-round pick, but with his history, I've spoken at length about how much I love Xavier Hutchinson, the pick, how he played with Brock Purdy at Iowa State the year before this past year, and how he has been consistently the best wide receiver and the go-to guy on the Iowa State roster. So I have no reason to believe that he's just going to be cut his first season in the NFL. So I thought that was an interesting discussion that was had in that ESPN article. But so you've got your 5 to 6 guys that will make the roster. It's just a matter of who makes that 6th slot. That same ESPN article had said that they believe Noah Brown is in and Amari Rodgers is out. There's obviously some guys that are like setting themselves up maybe to be preseason training camp legends, like Jared Wayne or Jalen Camp, guys that are a fringe to make the roster, but could have a showing that puts them firmly in position to make the roster. So wide receiver for me is a position that I'm really interested in seeing how it plays out. Another position I'm interested in seeing how it plays out is the D-line in general, really mostly defensive end. Unless you write for Clutch Points and don't know anything about the Texans roster, you probably have guessed that Will Anderson is definitely starting on one of the ends of the defensive line. It's just a matter of who's starting opposite. Now, last season, that position was occupied by Jerry Hughes, and he's still here. ESPN is still listing him at the top of the depth chart, and I trust ESPN's depth chart at this point in the offseason about as much as I trust Bill Cosby alone with my drink. So Jerry Hughes listed as the starter. We've obviously added Chase Winovich, Jonathan Grenard, and I did a poll recently on Twitter. A lot of people agree with me. I think that Jonathan Grenard clearly should be starting. He has to earn it, obviously. So Jerry Hughes is the incumbent veteran. This is, I think, very similar to what we're getting with the Davis Mills versus CJ Stroud competition, where Jonathan Grenard, obviously not the caliber of player that CJ Stroud is, but he's a young guy coming in, trying to compete for, a starting position, having been that guy for the Texans, having led the team in sacks before, obviously at a lower time in the franchise's existence. I think he's capable of earning the starting position opposite of Will Anderson. Yeah, he's my early bet to be the guy. I mean, if it's Jerry Hughes, it's on Grenard at this point. If Grenard's not the starter, then I could see them doing it by committee, and it could be Hughes or Grenard. But it'd be hard for me to believe that Grenard doesn't get at least significant play time this season. The last thing I'll say about training camp is I'm interested in watching how the center position shapes out. Right now, Juice Scruggs is listed as the starter with incumbent starter Scott Cussenberry behind him as backup. It's been kind of an foregone conclusion to this point that Juice Scruggs will be the starting center. I don't necessarily disagree with that personally. I felt like whoever they took that we felt, was the guy they meant to start at center would probably be the starter his rookie year, unless he just was absolutely not good. Juice Scruggs was a captain in college. He fit the bill for the first 5 picks of the draft in that regard. So I have trouble believing that he doesn't start. But I'm interested to see. It's being talked about like that's an foregone conclusion, and I'm just interested to see if it's possible that someone else like a Michael Dieter, a Jarrett Patterson, guys who are guards that played center could possibly challenge for that position, or if they could decide to go with the veteran Scott Quessenberry, which if you remember last season or if you've looked at PFF ratings, I don't think that's likely, but you never know. Right now it's Juice Scruggs, and I personally hope it stays that way. I'm just interested to see how that plays out. It feels like we've talked about it probably one too many times, and I've probably given it more attention than I should, but the Titans officially announced that they are wearing the Houston Oilers throwback uniforms, the Tennessee Oilers, who knows, whatever you want to call it, they're wearing the uniform. And I've said it a lot. I'm a pretty young Texans fan. I was barely alive for the Oilers being in Houston, so I don't have any huge connection to it. And, the franchise still owns the intellectual property. So from that regard, it's whatever. For me personally, the thing that kind of sent me off was the fact that they used Love You Blue on the back of the collar, on the inside collar of their uniforms when they revealed it. It seems like that was more of a Houston thing. That era of Houston football was spurred on by the city. It was a culture thing in Houston. And while you can take many things as intellectual property and move them cities, that's not one of them. So a little frustrated with the inclusion of that. It seems petty. I'll tell you this. I think the best way to settle it is on the field. And I hope and pray that the Titans decide to wear their Oilers throwbacks in Nissan Stadium when the Texans come. Honestly, I hope they wear them in NRG. I hope they bring the uniform down to NRG and try that out, because I'd love to see how that plays out. I just really, as much as I don't have any connection to the Oilers, at this point, I'd love to see the Texans just crush the Tennessee Oilers, or whatever you want to call them, in that uniform. That is something that would make me very happy. If you take a look at my Twitter page over the next couple of days, week or so, I've come across a couple of training camp tickets, and I will be giving them away. Shout out to Joseph for donating those and sponsoring these giveaways. So if you want to go to Texans training camp, I'm giving away 3 different sets of tickets. Depending on when you're listening to this, the first giveaway might be done with. It ends Thursday at noon, but all you got to do is go over to my profile, follow me on Twitter, retweet the tweet, and for this particular one, I'm doing leave your favorite Texans player that's currently on the roster in the reply, so go ahead and get in on that. Once again, if you liked what you saw in this video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel. If you want to find me on social media, I am at N1 Texans Fan on all social media, including the app formerly known as Twitter, that is now X, although the app hasn't switched over for me, but whatever. But if you want to follow me, that's how you can do that. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. It's not goodbye. It's see you later.